Democrats outperformed expectations and Republicans did not see the red wave they predicted. So let's bring in our ABC News contributors, former Democratic Congressman Joe Crowley of New York and former Republican Congressman Tom Graves from Georgia for more on this. Good morning to both of you. Tom, former President Trump said yesterday that he deserves the credit if Republicans win. So is he to blame then for Republicans underperforming, especially in Pennsylvania and New Hampshire?
Yeah, I think Donald Trump always has that reputation of wanting to have credit. But, first I'd say this morning, to the Democrats, they wake up breathing a sigh of relief. And Republicans probably realizing they overbought on confetti and balloons. Last night just didn't turn out the way either party thought it probably was going to turn out. But it's clear that the races that former President Trump engaged in, and particularly in the general election, didn't turn out in his favor. And if I had to think about the big winners, the big losers, the big winners clearly are, Governor DeSantis and probably the House Freedom Caucus. And the big losers are going to be Donald Trump and probably the progressives.
I want to ask you about DeSantis because we didn't see a red wave across the country, but we did see a red wave in Florida. Governor DeSantis is projected to win pretty handedly. Republicans also flipped 3 House seats there. You can see, I'm showing the Post cover right now. They're calling him DeFuture. A New York Times column is asking if he's the new 2024 frontrunner. So is Trump's influence over the Republican Party over?
Well, I think now you're seeing that there is a wing of the Republican Party that's potentially sees a different alternative, a path, maybe returning back to the roots of the Republican Party. But for Governor DeSantis, I served with him, as did Congressman Crowley as well. We served with him in the House of Representatives, and so we know him personally. But he stayed focused on his state. He stayed focused on the issues of the state, not of a party or not of a person. And so I think of late, you've probably seen both parties focus on personalities versus platforms, and Governor DeSantis has been focusing on the Republican platform as well as those he represents.
Now, Joe, Democrats may have done better than expected here, but they could still lose both the House and the Senate. So what are your takeaways based on what we know so far?
Well, my takeaway, number one, is that we did overperform. You heard from the pundits, you heard from the pollsters, and as I said all along, the only poll that really matters is the one that took place yesterday. This will still play out for a few weeks. I think it's going to be very, very much like 2020, where it all comes down to Georgia for the Senate. I do think we'll hold on to the Senate. The House is still up. I would give more of that weight towards Republicans right now. They only had to win 5 seats. But the Democrats have really held up all around the country. Just look at Arizona alone. It's been amazing.
Now, Democrats focused largely on democracy and abortion rights, especially in that final stretch leading into these elections. Do you think that was the right focus? Was that the right message?
I think that, you have to meet the voters where they are. And I think Democrats did do that, not from a national message, but their own messaging back in their districts. And that's what's critical here. In the end of the day, they went to communicate to their voters what the important issues were in their communities, their areas. I will say this, that as much as, I've said that good economies come and go, bad economies come and go, but democracies, they don't come and go. And I think that message did get through to the voters out there. I think that's why you saw this strong response by Democrats nationwide. And it was a good night for Joe Biden. There's no question about it.
Now, Tom, in addition to Florida, Republicans also swept the Senate and the governor's race in Ohio. Those are 2 states that used to be bellwethers. Now they're looking solidly red. How significant is that?
Yeah, I think that is significant. I think it's showing the independence of the voters right now. I think voters, and particularly look at Georgia as well, they're making informed decisions about who they want to govern, and it's in different offices as well. And so you've seen that in Florida, as you mentioned. I mean, it was a purple state, not too many cycles ago, and now it's solidly red. You're seeing Georgia voters be very independent. Arizona is the same way, right? A Republican General Assembly governorship, but 2 Democrat U.S. senators. And you're seeing Ohio, which used to be purplish, is now more solidly red. So I think nationwide, you're seeing regional voting, issue voting, and voters are just more informed about the decisions they want to make. They're not worried about the nationalization of an issue. I think they're worried more about the issues that are in front of them.
And I'm out of time, but Joe, I just want to ask you quickly, what do you think this does for strategy going forward?
Well, I think, as I said, it was a good night last night. It starts to play out a bit. But I think Joe Biden had a good year, and I think he's going to have strong response after. I think today or tomorrow we'll hear a good response from the president himself.
All right. Tom Graves, Joe Crowley, thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.